Go to PropSwap.com or download the free PropSwap app today.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
Touchdown!
Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station.
The following program is paid for, and the opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schweim.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schweim.
It is a crisp, cold Sunday morning here in South Jersey. Welcome into the locker room with Billy Schweim. It's PW Day again in here in the locker room. I'm getting ganged up. I got two Plymouth White Marsh graduates, the Pete Thompson and the Mike Carlin show today. What's going on,
Billy?
guys?
How are you? What, 13 degrees isn't warm enough for you?
I said 18 in my car. Was I giving it too much credit outside?
I think you gave it 5 degrees too many.
I think for sure. Now, I've been down here for close to 30 years. By far, this was the most snow we ever got at one time.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially down the Jersey Shore.
I mean, it was.
You guys been getting lambasted.
Yeah. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we got like 13. That was a lot. This was like 16, 17. I mean, this was a lot.
So, PT, I know having to drop you off last week, and you kind of like off the
And
beat.
the week before, Mike Carlin followed me to the mechanic in the repair shop.
You're not that far off a major highway, but your roads are more rural back there. Were they all plowed or
my complex was covered over. The Jimmy Leeds Road was fantastic,
Okay.
and then the highway at the Garden State Parkways. You wouldn't know that it snowed at all.
Remember I said?
You did say that, Mike, but you know that there are areas on the expressway that it's down to like one and a half lanes
not the
almost. Like it's
Parkway.
like you can see like black ice. You got to be careful out there. But it's cold outside, but it's warm here in the locker room.
We're ready.
We're ready to go. It's NFC AFC Championship Sunday. Now, you guys, I don't know about you, but I mean, I hope today isn't a dud compared to last week. Nothing's going to compare to last week.
How are you going to top last week?
How are you going to top last week?
You know, it was so good last week,
That's
you
the
just
problem.
couldn't stop watching. You were so captivated, including, you know, I mean, my goodness gracious, how do you get that many points scored in that Buffalo and in the Bills Chiefs game? How do you get that many points in that little
was it
time?
25 points, Mike, in the last
26 points.
26 points in the last 2 minutes. 2 minutes, right? Under 2 minutes.
And I almost got in a fight on a plane coming home. Jokingly.
That's funny.
Well, you can't joke about that because that's all you see on the news.
No, but I told everybody on the plane that Buffalo won with 13. We were going down the runway taking off.
Especially if you had people that had bets. Like,
And they scored 13 seconds left. And then
you told them they won.
My phone went dead. As soon as we got in the air, my phone went dead. I said, guys, Buffalo just scored with 13 seconds. They're going to win.
Now, a lot happened last night. We had a full slate of, local teams playing last night. And because of the snow and the cold and everything, I'm sure I pulled up a nice couch last night, PT and Mike, and I watched sports all day long, right?
Yeah.
Just shoveled the snow. I had a couple former students of mine come over, knock on the door, say, Mr. Schweim, can we shovel your snow? I gave him some couple dollars, and I just put the dogs up and watched hockey. And lo and behold, Pete Thompson,
You're the reason. You're it. You're the good luck charm.
Flyers get off the 13-game schneid.
Yeah, it was
sooner or later.
I mean, blind squirrel finds it not every so often, right? I mean, it was pretty unbelievable that they were able to win. They had, the way that game went, they kept going ahead, and then the Kings would come back and tie it up. I mean, the Flyers were up 1-0, then they were up 2-0. You're feeling pretty good, and then the Kings come back and cut it to 2-1. Atkinson scores, and a shorty, no less.
Yeah.
And you feel like 3-1's pretty good. And my goodness, I mean, that Kopitar goal, what were you saying at the TV?
Billy, was it 30 seconds left?
There
28,
was
38
seconds
38
left.
seconds left.
Yeah.
What was I saying to the TV? I cannot
repeat on the radio,
yes. But I will say this.
Expletive.
I literally had not shown that much of emotion watching a Flyers game in the last month and a half. I was all over my TV set. I could not believe what I saw.
Yeah.
And for them to come back and win was almost like anticlimactic for me. The fact that they gave up a goal with 38 seconds to go, I mean, you can't make this up.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, each time you figure that they hit the lowest of low, Kopitar does what he does. It was 37.4 seconds left, technically, as Kopitar scores. But, hey, Scotty Lotz saved the day, sends everybody home happy, and although there was some concern, did you think Provorov being in the crease was going to wave it off, Billy?
Not really. Because after watching the room, but I will say this, man. Are you happy with Provorov's play? Well, I'm not, and I'll tell you why. I can't.
He's regressed. I
mean,
everybody
backwards.
But he was expecting to be paired with Ellis. He was expecting to be paired with his
fundamentals.
Guy.
I mean, he's collapsing down. I've seen the game the other night. He backed in and left the goalie hung to dry. I mean, he's not playing aggressive defense.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, and look, he still chews up a ton of minutes. He's in all the pressure situations. There's a lot of blame to go around for why the Flyers are where the Flyers are beyond just Ivan Provorov.
And another facet, Mike, and I know you're not a big hockey guy. You're my basketball aficionado. But you know what? I know it is a great achievement for Yandel to get the streak, the streak of he's the Iron Man, the new Iron Man in the NHL. But at a minus 22, I mean, it's a great achievement, but he's out there, but he's not doing anything.
100%.
How long do you let somebody?
How long do you let somebody play? Just
God.
What are you gonna just? Is that what we're doing? Was that what the month of January was all about? Make sure Yandel gets his
yes.
Iron Man awards, and then lose the whole month of January because he stinks.
I mean, yes, unfortunately, yes, and that's a question that we were having earlier about how long do you let this guy go? And they let him go to make sure that he got that. Now, my question to you, look, you can
Bench
make
him.
Okay, who are you going to play in his place?
I don't care. Find somebody. He stinks.
Find
got
somebody.
Now.
Billy, what do you think that? I mean, he's still an NHL defenseman. Who are you going to bring up? Somebody from Lehigh
Pete,
Valley.
When you're losing,
no
when you're 22, when you're 14, 22, and 8, and you have 36 points at the end of January.
I mean, look,
make changes, dude.
Look at you. What changes? They changed the coach. They already fired him. They're trying to find deals to get somebody back in a move for Giroux.
It wasn't
if
the
Giroux
coach.
will agree.
It wasn't.
Something,
it wasn't the coach. It wasn't Vainu's fault, but he's got to be the scapegoat. I get it.
Billy,
right?
Billy,
all sports.
Do you see who you're talking to?
Yeah,
right
I know.
He's all fired up. I mean,
he's all
got the
fired
hat.
up, right?
You're not going to win this battle.
And by the way, so last night after the Flyers game, you get a little respite, and then you get to the Sixers game.
Yeah.
And we gave away Sixers tickets last Saturday,
right?
And the winner was Lawrence from Delaware. And I happened to have, Josh had forwarded me his information so I could get the T-shirts and the tickets to him, through the mail. And I had his number, and I said, "Hey, Lawrence, and if Lawrence, if you're out there, man, call us up 609-573-3776. Tell us about the game." But I texted him and I said, "How are the seats?" And he went, "Excellent, fantastic,
beautiful."
So he was all Sixered up, and the Sixers, they were down 17 points, 17. Mike. They make a comeback only to keep us on the edge of our seats in that game. Yeah. That guy Hamilton.
For who?
For Sacramento, the 38-point Hamilton.
No. It starts with an H. Hold on.
Harrison Barnes?
No, it wasn't Barnes.
Who are you talking about?
No, it's
Halliburton.
Halliburton.
The guy was shooting the lights out. He gets the ball at the end of the game last night.
Hamilton.
Sweating.
Everybody, right?
He's on a $10 bill, Alexander Hamilton. Who are you talking about? Halliburton.
But that game
was a whole scandal back in the day.
I know.
The Halliburton scandal, the Enron scandal,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and I'm going to Blockbuster Video when the show's done.
Just goes to show you that I don't get to watch Sacramento too much.
Oh my God, that makes me laugh.
But there was a lot of trade talk with Halliburton and Harrison and Buddy Hield.
Yeah.
At
one time Fox, they had Fox.
Right, they had Fox on that.
We won't.
No,
none of them.
And you made a point while we were at break or before we came on, which is pretty accurate. I mean, you would think you would see Ben Simmons films in the summer you see him working on his jump shot,
nowhere.
you see him doing all this, doing all that. You don't see anything.
Everybody thinks differently, but I'm just trying to put myself in his shoes. I would be out there promoting myself every day in the gym. I'd have camera crews with me,
right?
Showing I'm in shape, I'm ready to go. Let's get this over with. Get me doing. If I'm not coming to the Sixers, get me on another team. But
you don't even see him on TMZ or anything.
I don't even know what kind of shape he's in because no one knows anything. I don't even know if he practicing his shot. No one knows. That's why I think other teams aren't so excited to just jump and get him.
All right, so we got a great show lined up. I got the Plymouth White Marsh crowd in here today. I've got.
Should we sing our alma mater? Do you remember how it started?
Maybe at the end of the show. We have Scott Grayson on the other side, and I want to pick Scott Grayson's brain. It'll be the last time we have Scotty on. 97.3 ESPN.com writer, of course. Fox 29 News sports anchor Scott Grayson with his latest on the Birds. We'll talk to the fantasy football guru, and then of course Brad Quast, our own Brad Quast, will check in at the bottom of the second hour. So we got a lot to do today, guys.
Sounds good. Sounds like fun. Let's do it.
All right, the first hour of the locker room is powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that will help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shore to center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you. With 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA, that's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. My winter watchdog. There you go. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on the house. Could you imagine you could have used that service yesterday? Hours of time on the road, stuck in snow. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869, or send Debbie an email, debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll talk with Scott Grayson. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Mike Carlin, Pete Thompson, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers,
play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BLUE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next fill-up. You can cash out anytime to PayPal or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BLUE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BLUE.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Mike Carlin, Pete Thompson, right here on 97.3 ESPN. By the way, we're streaming live on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page. The Facebook page is Billy Schweim, and the YouTube channel is The Locker Room, Billy Schweim.
Yeah,
So
hello
check us
to
out there.
Doc Holloway, Mike DeJess, and
Mike
John.
and Jesse, yeah.
Right? They're all on your
there.
Facebook page.
Now we're trying to get in touch with Scotty Grayson. I did talk to him last night through a text, and he did say he would be available. So while Pete Thompson continues to try to get Scotty Grayson on, I do want to get back to a little bit of the Sixers because last night at the end of the game, they really clamped down on defense, and that was impressive to see that Thibault, Matisse Thibault, Maxey. Danny Green put the clamps on him.
They certainly did. And look, Embiid was fatigued. I think he was a little gassed to start the game off, but he certainly was there when they needed him. I heard you guys talking during the break that his 36 points, that's the 21st straight contest that he's had. 21 straight contests that he's played in, and he has 12 rebounds, 12 assists. I mean, the guys.
But he needs one more 25, right. Just 25 points plus.
Yes.
To tie Allen Iverson. If he does it when's their next game? If he does it on Monday against Memphis, he will tie Allen Iverson for 26.
That's going to be a great game.
Yeah. Okay.
Memphis is
so I believe we have we do have. So let's go to the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and welcome into the locker room our good buddy, 97.3 ESPN.com writer, Fox 29 News sports anchor. Of course, you can catch him with Mike Hill every Monday for Grayson's Grades. Let's welcome into the locker room Scott Grayson. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
All right, Scott, I know I hope you're keeping nice and warm. I know you're out in the car there and you're doing all your errands, but we really appreciate you taking a few minutes to, wrap it up, if you will, for this season. And all in all, from a fan's perspective, it was an exciting season. A team that wasn't supposed to do anything, a coaching staff that was a rookie coaching staff that's so young, and when he came into the nest, the bird's nest, if you will, some of the press conferences weren't the best. But at the end of the day, when the dust settles, I think overall a pretty positive year.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, look, they gave you an extra week of football that you weren't really expecting or supposed to have. You got that extra week of football in the playoffs, and we had a lot to talk about. I really thought it was a game they could win. I was clearly wrong. But, it's funny because you thought you had some questions answered, and then they played that playoff game, and now you're left kind of wondering again. And then if you watch the Bills-Chiefs game, which who didn't, you're left again asking yourself, well, do you really? I mean, I think you might need a quarterback like that, and I don't believe you have that right now. So there's definitely a lot of questions that you go into the offseason with, and these guys in the front office are paid the big bucks because they're supposed to stay, level-headed, even keel, kind of read the room and figure out what this team needs and try to find a way to go after it. And, I was prepared to feel like, and I still do think the best path forward for this team is let Jalen Hurts be the guy next year, see if he makes any growth. In the meantime, you've got other holes you need to fill. You can really fill a lot of the holes around the rest of the team and revisit the quarterback spot a year later. I know some people are saying, look, after what we saw, and now if in fact Brady is retiring and Rodgers, who knows what he's going to do. He might go to the AFC. The NFC is really wide open in terms of the path forward. And if you just get the quarterback, maybe you have a much better chance of getting through it. But, you'd invest a lot to have to do that. And my question is it really worth it?
And that's a great segue, Mike and Pete, to what I was going to talk about next is you look at last week's game, Buffalo Bills with one of the best, if not the best defense in the AFC, couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes at crunch time. So it leaves me scratching my head. Like we do have, the Eagles do have a lot of needs, specifically on the defense with an edge rusher, a linebacker who they don't put any value in linebackers. Even Howie Roseman made it clear in his press conference that they have a philosophy. I think that speaks volumes. And then somebody in the secondary with the 15th, 16th, and 19th overall pick. But it leaves you scratching your head. You can't. Does it really matter? You can't stop these quarterbacks. A great quarterback like Mahomes, Josh Allen, Stafford, Joe Burrows, pick you apart.
They will. And I think that's, but what I said about there not really being a great quarterback in the NFC anymore right now, at least, again, depending on what Aaron Rodgers does, who knows what happens with Russell Wilson, if you still consider him to be great. I still think he's, very good, if not among the top quarterbacks in the league. Then if you build up a defense, you should be able to stop most of the quarterbacks in your conference. And if you can do that, then ultimately you get to that one game where anything can happen. And there it is. But again, I asked the question, is it worth the assets it would involve to get one of these other quarterbacks? And in my opinion, I would rather take at least 2, if not all 3 of those top 19 picks and build your defense with a good young foundation that doesn't cost a lot of money, that allows you to invest in free agency and other holes on the team because you're going to have some money to spend this year. And if you do that, are you not increasing the likelihood that your team can win some games? Look, Jalen Hurts showed he can put some points on the board. Now, what will other defensive coordinators around the league do? They tend to catch up. How will they play him? What will they? I think a lot of what the one downside of the playoff game is that Tampa showed these other teams how you can really make the Eagles have to try to beat you through the air. You got to find a way to stop that run, keep Jalen Hurts limited from doing damage with his legs. And so therefore, but I see what you're saying, Billy, and I definitely agree that perhaps the best path forward is to build up your defense, add a couple pieces around the team at different spots, and then, like I said, revisit the quarterback. But, we all know Howie Roseman. He's that guy who everybody else in the room can be beating their head against the wall because they disagree with what he's about to do, and he'll still make the draft pick. So, we all see the linebackers that played in that national championship game and go, hey, I bet one of those would help. And he's like, no, we have a philosophy. We're going to stick to it. Quarterback factory. And, okay, all right, whatever. I guess you're the guy who's expected to make those choices. But, yeah, I think it's, buckle up. It's going to be a frustrating offseason at the same time as I think there are times where it could get a little exciting. What they do with that second wide receiver spot. To me, there's a lot of good options out there. And what they do with their defense.
I think you hit it right on the button. I think when we talk about the quarterback, I don't think we really have to talk about the quarterback right now. In my mind, there's no one coming out of the college that is going to be better than Hurts right now.
Right.
Wilson's the only guy, like Scott said, I would even think about bringing in, but it's going to cost us a lot to get him.
I wouldn't mortgage the whole future for.
Well, that's what I want to talk about. I don't mind to jump in, but that's what I want to talk about.
If we can get Wilson, I'd grab him.
Right.
I would give a lot of
price.
I mean, did you see Marcus Hayes' piece, Scott, about Wilson?
I did not see it. No,
I saw, but I didn't read it.
He's got a piece up right now. Marcus Hayes, the esteemed Marcus Hayes, friend of the show. Russ or bust. The Eagles should trade the first-round draft picks for Russell Wilson. And the subtext of that is he wouldn't just be the best quarterback in the NFC East. He'd be the best quarterback in the NFC East ever. Like, if you look at his resume and what he is, and, he uses Steve Young as a reason. Yes, he uses Steve Young as a reason or an example, like Exhibit A of a guy that was able to be effective post 33. And there's the narrative out there that says that Wilson is done. That's my question to you, Scott Grayson. Do you think Wilson is done? And if they could get him, is that a guy that interests you?
Yes, he does interest me. I would be in favor of getting him. Do I think he's done? No. I think he came back from his injury too early, and the second half of his season was clearly affected by that. I think he's got, look, you ask yourself, how many years do you want to try to have the quarterback before you have to revisit this again? Because this is not fun, right? Having to find that guy. And if they're able to do that and get, say, 5, 6, 7 years potentially out of a Russell Wilson,
And he's 33. He'll be 30. He's 33.
I understand.
I
but
said
they're
that,
playing a lot older than they used to because of the changes in rules, the way that they don't get hit the way they used to.
You can't touch them. Yeah.
And if I'm Russell Wilson, the biggest thing you hear is people say, would Russell Wilson want to come here? This is one of the best offensive lines in the league, if not the best, depending on what kind of happens and what they do with it. And I think that he's tired of getting hit and running for his life like he had to at times in Seattle. If he really does look at this team and feels like it's got the ability or the pieces around it, like he's got to look at a Devontae Smith and say, okay. And before he comes here, he's got to say, well, what are you doing for another receiver? Because I need another receiver. And he looks at the running backs and says, okay, they can run. I like what Russell Wilson gives you in a mobile quarterback that you've seen can help this running game with this offensive line with Jalen Hurts. And you say, okay, is it worth giving up those 3? Would it take 3, first-round picks? Or would it take 2 and a future first? Or 2 and a Jalen Hurts? I don't know. I'm sure that Seattle would be looking to get as much as they possibly could from you. And this is one of those things like buckle up. This is not just going to happen. This would be like a Ben Simmons kind of wait a while to see if that, not a full year, but the timing of it will feel agonizing to see if in fact it happens. But do I want him? Yeah, I would take a Russell Wilson, put him behind this offensive line. And again, if you have Russell Wilson, I believe you have one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the conference. Again, that's assuming that Aaron Rodgers potentially goes to Denver. And I think if that happens, you have one of the top 2, top 3 quarterbacks. You have everything is open in front of you. And I think that's where you want to be.
Yeah, I think you hit all the points there. I mean, first of all, Howie has to figure out what the price is going to be. Is it all 3 of the picks? Is it 2 firsts and a second? He writes 2 firsts, a second, and Jeffrey Lurie's Tesla. Done. Then the next thing is making the money work. But the one thing about Roseman is he always seems to find a way to make the money worth. Will Russell Wilson want to come here because in
That's
Seattle he's like Dr. J in Seattle. He's revered in Seattle. Like, does he want to come to Philly? But then you sit there and say, well, why wouldn't you want to come and play behind a real offensive line?
Well,
he doesn't have to run for his life the whole time.
Let me just also stipulate that the fact that you're still saying that the Eagles' offensive line is one of the best in the league now that we're losing Brandon Brooks to retirement.
They are losing Brandon Brooks, but they were one of the top offensive lines in the league without him. And so that's where I look at that saying,
Stoutland. Yes. It's all Stoutland. As long as Stoutland is here, they're in the running.
They'll move him.
Stoutland is a magician. There is no doubt. And guys, that's another thing is you're waiting to figure out, well, what's Jason Kelce going to do, right? Is he going to stick around for one more year? And if I were him, you went through and invested all your time and energy and had one of your best seasons this year. This team is clearly trending in the right direction. And I think he sits and watches and says, wow, let's see what they do. And I think he has to give it one more year to say, let me see where that we invested, the foundation we built, where could that go? But if he leaves, don't move Landon Dickerson. I really love Dickerson and Mailata on the left side. I think that is an awesome combination to watch. I would rather see Sayamalu move to center and leave Dickerson where he is.
The draft is coming up. We mentioned the fact that they get 15, 16, and 19. I just hope that they don't try to get too creative moving things around. I like the defense. I like a lot of the young defensive players coming out of the draft. It's heavy defensively. We've got a lot of holes on that side of the ball. It'll be very interesting, Scott Grayson, to see what path they take.
If you put a gun to my head and ask me right now, I need you to tell me Howie Roseman makes 3 first-round picks or he doesn't, I would say he doesn't. I don't think that there is any way. His history says he will make 3 first-round picks. He will either look to move into the first round next year with one of them. He will either look to package 2 of them and move up into the top 10, or he will trade them for a Russell Wilson or a Deshaun Watson or something like that. I will be absolutely shocked. Right now, I would put my house, my car, even my firstborn son, because I don't like him as much, on the fact that they will not pick 15, 16, and 19.
We got Scotty Grayson on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. Today's the NFC AFC Championship game. Scott, who do you like and why?
Look, I find it hard to pick against Andy Reid and the Chiefs. I really do like everything that the Bengals are doing, and the Bengals kind of remind me a little bit of the 2017 Eagles. They're kind of playing with, as everybody says, like house money. Nobody expected them to get this far. They're here. They have no pressure. The pressure is firmly on the Chiefs. And the one thing I will say to watch for today, remember Minnesota came to the NFC Championship game against the Eagles that year off that Minnesota miracle, right? The high. I feel like the high the Chiefs had to feel off that overtime win, boy, that's going to be tough to get back up for. And you got to watch and see if they are a little flat coming out today. But all that being said, I think over 4 quarters in Kansas City, I think the Chiefs are going to win that game. And on the other side, I really think it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row. I feel like the Rams are really kind of moving, and they're playing a lot better than they were a few weeks ago when they played the Niners, and the Niners had to win in overtime just to even get in the playoffs. Crazy how all this works out. I think we're looking at a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl.
All right. Scotty Grayson, it's been a great year. We really enjoy your segment throughout the whole football season. We look forward to it. Of course, you can catch your writing on 973ESPN.com. Grayson's grades on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill, and, of course, Sports Sunday, Fox 29 News. Scotty Grayson, thank you so much, and I look forward to the next football season.
You got it, guys. It's always a blast talking to you. Make sure you enjoy the offseason. It's going to be wild.
No doubt.
There he is, Scotty Grayson. The Plymouth Whitemarsh gang is in the locker room with me today, and Scott, he's got his finger right on the pulse, Mike. I mean, he knows he knows how he rose his MO.
It's not going to change. We all know it's. I mean, it's not
right. How can I turn these 3 picks into gold? How can I?
He said almost exactly what I was thinking. He's going to take an offensive lineman with one of them. He's going to take a defensive lineman with the other, and the third he's going to get rid of.
I got to tell you, I was scanning this Marcus and Billy, you're going to love this piece. I mean, because it's a column, it's an opinion, but I mean, they talk about Russell Wilson's been to 2 more Pro Bowls than Roger Staubach or Troy Aikman, who won a combined 5 Super Bowls, right? They talk about the fact that, people say they're trying to develop Jalen Hurts. Well, to be who? Cordell Stewart? I mean, like, what are you trying to develop him into? And quite frankly, if you've got one more season of Jason Kelsey, or who knows how many of Lane Johnson or Dallas Goedert, are you going to waste more time with them, or are you going to go ahead with a guy that could absolutely, completely change the entire face of the franchise?
Well, it's going to be pretty interesting, and I look forward to moving forward here. In the locker room, the first hour of the locker room was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services for home buyers and sellers, real estate agents, brokers, lenders, home builders, developers, and attorneys to facilitate your real estate purchases. Surety is an industry-wide leader with a team of experts that will help you through the entire process, from contract signing to closing, from the shortest center city and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you with 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of new Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan of the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy being called a Maserati. Maserati, the mainline, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. Your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the mainline, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the mainline, at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at MOTML.com. All right, when we return, we'll continue with more here in the locker room with Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, Billy Schweim, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Later today, it's the championship round of the NFL playoffs as we bring you a special doubleheader.
off new Nissans. Only at MattBlattNissan.com. And get equity local refinance with the new vehicle. 36 months, 10,000 mile per year lease. Plus tax, and $479 fee. Offers can't be combined. MSRP $60,140. VIN and N532176. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 2/5/2022. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Sunday, January 30th, AFC NFC Championship game today. Catch all the action right here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike Carlin in the studio. Pete Thompson running the show today and bringing it as he always does on a frigid, cold Sunday morning, but we're warming things up in here. I got a question for the both of you. I thought it was kind of funny how yesterday the news broke that Tom Brady was going to retire. There's a lot of speculation of Brady, and then, I mean, I'm talking every single news channel, whether I was watching ABC News, World News Tonight, Fox, CNN, Sports, it was everywhere. And then Twitter and Facebook and Instagram blowing up over Tom Brady. Do you think it was just a goof on Adam Schefter? You saw things on Twitter.
No. I think where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, his
father denied it, that there's any.
Absolutely. His father denied it. A lot of people have come out and said, that's not right. But ESPN's doubling down, so much so that as we started the show today, Mike Carlin kind of motioned and said, hey, look at the TV over there. And, it's Jeff Darlington and Adam Schefter now reporting together saying that, yes, he is going to retire. But I mean, there's, his own father's coming out and saying, no, this isn't true. And people are trying to.
Nothing for Tom Brady, Mike. Nothing at all.
I think
he's quiet. When he's ready, he will.
His agent basically said that, look, I'm not going to say anything about this. I'm going to let Tom talk about it. Like when it's time to talk,
I think it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy, PT. And you know what the conspiracy is? He wants all this attention right now on NFC and AFC Championship. He's doing this on purpose.
I mean, all the sources.
He wants all the publicity, Pete.
That's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
And you're still mad at him for not.
He's a marketer, Pete.
He didn't shake Nick Foles' hand, and that's making you mad too, right?
You know what?
Come on.
Listen, there are people that hate Tom Brady. Are you in that? How do you feel? You're ambivalent, right? You don't give a one way or the other. He's just a great football player. You got to witness a great football player.
The best.
The best.
Pete,
are you ambivalent? How do you feel about
I had dislike for Tom Brady. I still have dislike for Tom Brady, but I recognize that he's the greatest to ever play that position.
Pete, let me ask you this question then, Pete. Did Deflategate piss you off?
All kinds of things where he was able to circumvent the rules.
Well, about that. See, Mike, that didn't aggravate me. What's 5 PSI? No one in this room and the majority of people out there wouldn't be able to distinguish 5 PSI on a football. That was such an overblown story, in my estimation.
Not mine. To me,
on, Pete,
no, not mine. To me, that's a guy that wanted something. That's the arrogance of Tom Brady. How he wanted. And I have to say it this way. He wanted his balls a certain way. Therefore, he had to deflate, and nobody
didn't piss me off. But nobody else was not trying to win, Pete.
Show me a cheater, you show me a winner.
That's
Look,
right.
Why can't you play the game with integrity?
Guys, do we seem to forget that when all that came out, there were other quarterbacks that came out and agreed with them and said, oh, I like the ball a certain way too. So you don't think they were doing it?
Exactly.
Taking the ball out or putting more air in and all that?
It's like because you're at the top, people are trying to knock you off. And since they couldn't beat Tom Brady fair and square on the field, they're trying every other way to get at him. Now, the only thing that did piss me off is when they were filming the Eagles.
Right.
That's
was
cheat.
Wrong.
That's bona fide cheat. But that wasn't Tom Brady. That was the organization.
Yeah.
You don't think he knew about it?
Okay, he's a player.
You don't think he got to watch some of that film?
Well, he might have.
You don't think that in his film sessions they were watching? Now watch this here. This is where the linebacker drops back. This
he
is where
smart
the safety,
enough to say. He is smart enough in those meetings to say, "Hey, how did we get this?"
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
so he did find out about it,
but he wasn't the author. Like he wasn't the one that
he didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So my point is, the only thing that ever really pissed me off about Tom Brady, other than the fact that he beat us in the 2004 Super Bowl, because I was there, sitting right next to Frank Unger from the Hamburger Construction Company.
I know the Unger family. Good people.
With Scott Simpson from Playland. We were at that game. And that pissed me off because I don't like losing, but we lost to Tom Brady and made it smart. But here's the thing, Pete. When he didn't shake Nick Foles' hands, and that in and of itself did. But just to see that grin on his face last week when he was asked about that when they played, or 2 weeks ago when they played the Eagles,
that it's still coming up.
That got under my skin. Just his face and his smirk and his reaction to the question pissed me off.
I think he's got so much on his plate. He really doesn't care about shaking hands. Or I missed it. I forgot this.
No. The problem with it is that he'll gladly shake hands when he's the winner.
Right.
It's that he doesn't shake hands when he's the loser. And that's why people drives people crazy.
And in my mind, that's a competitor.
He's a competitor.
He takes it so
seriously.
He lost that game. I'm getting the what off the field.
Because you see in all different sports, Mike Carlin and Pete Thompson, you see guys that they lose a heartbreaker. The fans suffer more than the players do.
Yeah. They're out to dinner that night.
They're out to dinner that night, and they're having a blast.
Yep. I don't want to talk about. I know we're talking about football, but last night the Sixers game.
Yeah.
Guess where the Kings were 45 minutes after the game?
At the Go-Go Bar.
Pat Steaks. The whole team. The whole team.
I was going to say Delilah's dead.
No, they were hungry.
They don't care. Yeah, when the game's over, the game's over. They move on. In all the sports.
Because to them it's a business, and to us it's a passion.
Yeah.
And I get it, but it is refreshing to see somebody as great as Tom Brady, as old as he is, and as long as he's been in the league, still taking it like to heart that when he loses, he doesn't like to lose.
Yeah, especially the Super Bowl in Minneapolis. That one really stung him. And he's, still had like bad memories of it, and you could tell in the way he talked about the Eagles leading into that playoff game that they still gave him pause. By the way, Bruce Arians told ESPN's Jenna Lane that he hasn't said anything to him.
Right.
And then, of course, the big one, when Tom Brady Sr. says, Tommy hasn't made any such determination, calling him Tommy. My boy Tommy.
So let me ask you this, Pete. Mike, how did it get out? How does Adam Schefter report this? And now there's a lot of blowback from it.
Someone from in his own camp.
His wife, his kids. Did his kids talk to somebody down the street?
You're saying now that the wife reached out and said something?
Well,
you never know how the stories break.
Look, when you got Fox News on their evening talking about it for like 30 minutes.
That's huge.
CNN was talking. I was flicking the dial at like 5 o'clock before the Sixers game came on.
I mean, a lot of it has to do, too. How does it get out? It gets out that once Schefter, that's the big thing. Like, once Schefter reports it, then everybody's reporting it because he's earned that status as a guy that doesn't report inaccurate information. So it's actually really pretty interesting that now Tom Brady's trying to walk this back and say, no, I'm not going anywhere. Or, actually, he hasn't said anything.
He hasn't said anything.
Like to hear
There's so much at play, too. This is like when LeBron left Cleveland. It used to be that you couldn't get into a restaurant when LeBron was playing.
Is that
as soon as he left Cleveland, within 6 months, there were restaurants out of business.
Is that
there
right?
was no one downtown.
So wherever he went, people followed.
Yeah, they're worried about Tampa because before Tom got there, it was just a good city. With Tom there, it exploded.
Right.
Okay. Everybody wants
and
to
you spend a lot of time in Cleveland right now because your son works for the Cavaliers.
Yeah. But my point is, if Tom leaves Tampa, you're going to see a lot of stuff change in Tampa. Same thing with restaurants. I mean, he's brought so much attention to them that once he leaves, the money that's involved, forget about football, but the restaurants are by the stadium, the bars and all that. If they don't stay at the level that they're at,
and you know what?
Here was another strong clue, by the way, that Brady is leaning in this direction. He was on the Let's Go podcast with Jim Gray, and when he was asked about how he felt about his NFL career, his answer was satisfied. And that got a lot of attention because the guy has never said satisfied. He's never been happy with what his accomplishments are. He's always striving to get better and always striving to do more. So the fact that, he says satisfied makes you think like,
remember, they won it last year. It wasn't like he came back this year and they didn't make the playoffs. And it's like, man, I'm going out like this.
Right.
He had another great year.
And he almost brought the team back and won the game.
So, I have no problem with him leaving, and he's the best of all time.
7 Lombardi trophies. That's the most by a single player. 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Career records for most touchdown passes, 624. Most passing yards, 84,250. 22 seasons of football. And look, Big Ben made his official.
I said in contrast, he got Ben Roethlisberger just retired,
right.
And we're not even talking about him.
Right, because he's not the GOAT. Yeah. I mean, look, Ben Roethlisberger had a hell of a career, but he's not the GOAT.
Hey, Pete, real quick, off the top of your head, who's the greatest quarterback that you ever saw live?
Greatest live? Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
Yeah.
How about you, Mike?
Brady. Saw Brady in Tampa.
Yeah, I saw Brady. I saw Montana. Josh, yesterday we were asking people on the text board who's some of the great quarterbacks that you have seen live in your life. And we were asking that question. The first quarterback that I ever remember seeing was John Brody from the 49ers. And Josh,
I guess now that I think about it, I did see Brady. Remember that
I saw
season?
Sonny Jurgensen.
I saw
That
Brady in Foxborough.
yeah.
Remember the season where the Patriots were going for their perfect season?
Yeah.
And the Eagles played them on Sunday Night Football. And it was like A.J. Feely, because it was the backup to the backup had to play. And it was Asante Samuel before he was an Eagle that picked off A.J. Feely in the end zone to clinch the game. So, yeah, I guess maybe I would have to switch it to Brady if I'm going to argue that he's the GOAT. But
all right. The first hour of the locker was powered by Surety Title. Surety provides comprehensive title insurance protection and professional settlement services from the shore to Center City and every place in between. Surety Title is there for you. 15 office locations in New Jersey and PA. That's Surety Title. For more information, call my good friend Ron Conklin at 856-988-8900. The Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine. How about the USFL coming back, PT, in a couple weeks?
Yeah, nice, right? As long as we don't have that other guy that ruined it. We won't talk about him.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, thank you.
Just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine run by ex-Philadelphia and ex-USFL Philadelphia star standout Ken Dunnock. But you aware their private business network they call the Legacy Club. Every month they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia, South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to Ken at jerseymanmagazine.com or give him a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we'll wrap up the first hour. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Mike Carlin, Pete Thompson, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 90.
he gets put on the Pro Bowl. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah, no, he got an upgrade on
7.5 sacks this year.
The way Javon Hargrave, I like that you called him Mike Hargrove, like the Cleveland Indians. Boy, Carlin tells one story about downtown Cleveland, and you're like tried forever.
Did I say Hargrove?
Yeah. Javon Hargrave, look, I'm okay with that. I mean, I thought his numbers early were certainly Pro Bowl worthy.
7.5 sacks. He played pretty well.
I thought we finally got to see what the real Javon Hargrave was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the first couple times he was with us, the first year he was with us, he was really injured more often than he wasn't. So you didn't get to see the full.
Carlin, what do you think about Brandon Brooks hanging it up after a pretty good fight? 5 Pro Bowls? He was probably one of the best offensive.
I would have loved to see him come back one more year.
Yeah,
but there's got to be a reason.
He was getting beat up. Isn't that amazing? A guy that big can get beat. I mean, that just shows you how tough that game is, man.
Well, that just shows you,
right?
It's sad, but sometimes
it's like a little car accident.
Sometimes you don't want to see these guys
every
10 years
play.
from now.
Yeah.
10 years from now, they have a hard time walking.
You know what I saw on television the other day? The Book of Manning.
Oh, it's great.
Oh my God!
You'd never seen that before.
No.
Yeah.
But did you see in the beginning of that Archie Manning running? See his legs?
Yeah.
Like like Joe Namath. You ever see Joe Namath walk? I mean, with shorts on. Guys are torn up, man.
Yeah.
It's a violent game, and Joe Namath played at a time where it was, nowadays the quarterback can kind of get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Could you imagine if Joe Namath played under today's rules? Nobody touched. He'd
be throwing darts.
Yeah.
By the way, I got some other things at the second hour here, including could today's Niners-Rams be Troy Aikman's last game on Fox?
Yes.
I can't. You know who I can't stand is
Romo.
We'll get into that a little bit.
Which one are we going to get though? That's another question.
We'll get into some of the commentators. Yeah. On the other side, we got a lot to do on the other side because we're going to talk with the fantasy football guru Brian Hartley, and then we're going to talk to the Q-man. Brad Quast is going to check in with us. So we got a lot going on in hour 2. Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, Billy Schweim, right here in the locker room on 97.3 ESPN.
Some people are easily moved.
Wasn't that just the saddest movie ever?
Whatever. Other
Sports.
10-5 touchdown!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station.
Red 83! Welcome to the locker room.
Vince Papali, welcome to the locker room.
I can smell it already, Billy. What's happening, buddy?
Von Hayes, welcome to the locker room with Billy Schweim.
Yeah, hey, Billy, how you doing out there?
Rich Gannon, welcome to the locker room, Rich.
Thanks, guys. It's great to be with you.
Great Bob McElwee, NFL referee.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
Craig Berube. Craig, welcome to the locker room.
All right, thanks, Billy.
We have the real Pat Croce in the locker room.
Let me off the bench, Coach.
And now here's your host, Billy Schweim.
All right, we're back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, 97.3 ESPN, January 30th, AFC NFC Championship weekend. I don't know if we'll get any better than last weekend, Mike Carlin and Pete Thompson, but last weekend was really exciting, and let's like to get a repeat at least, or get close to it.
If we can have anything close to last week today, it's back-to-back weeks.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Now, right before Pete, we went to break. We started talking about announcers.
Yes.
And I want to touch on that because I don't have a problem with Troy Aikman. I'm almost gotten used to him, and I like the duo of Buck and Aikman.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do a great job. No one will ever replace Summerall,
right,
and Madden, or other ones. But I think Buck and Aikman do a good job. That being said, I can't take Tony Romo.
You told me that off the air.
I can't take Tony Romo.
Is it a Dallas thing or him?
I think it's both.
I mean, Tony Romo, let's start with him since you went in that direction.
His face, his smile.
Tony Romo exploded on the scene as like the play guesser, right? He was like the amazing Kreskin. Remember Kreskin on David Letterman, right? He was the amazing Kreskin. He'd know what the play was. He could see stuff, and
he was good.
He was amazing.
Yeah.
And then he got a huge contract and a bunch of money. And it's hard to think about this, but Aikman's been doing it for 20 years. The reason you like the guy is we've been doing it for 20 years. This is only Tony Romo's fifth year.
Well, I like his delivery. I like his, it's almost like Romo's enthusiasm's contrived. I don't know. Maybe it's real him. Maybe it's because of his Cowboy.
It's a Dallas thing.
It's a Dallas thing. I can't take it, but I don't know about you. You like him. I don't.
I tell you what,
he ruins the game for me.
Why? Does he know too much? Or he's telling you what's going to happen before it happens? Because I tell you what I really like about him. He don't hold back. I think there's times at Aikman that he doesn't say really what he wants to say, especially when it's against another quarterback.
Right.
It's like the quarterback family, can't say anything bad.
Right.
I've seen Romo at times
rip
a quarterback. It's like, hey, I'm telling you what I see, and he shouldn't have made that pass. And I love that.
And you got two different Romos in 2 different weeks. The Romo the week before in the Dallas game, right? Where
Maybe that's what it was.
He did a nice job there explaining why he said the umpire has to touch the ball. Dak doesn't realize this. These guys don't realize the umpire has to touch. He called that out immediately. At the end of the Chiefs-Bills game, Romo was a little bit off the rails. I mean, he literally, when Josh Allen threw the touchdown to Gabriel Davis, this was his commentary. It's just impossible. That's what he said. He went total fan geek,
He was overtaken.
He also, another knock on him from the Chiefs-Bills game was he was screaming, "I don't think it's over, Jim."
Yeah,
when the replays were showing that it clearly was over. That's it. The ball game's over.
Look, you guys, we're older. We've experienced some of the greatest announcers ever. Vin Scully, Gene Hart.
And what do they all have in common? Give me one more. You could give Summerall as the third.
Pat Summerall.
Okay, all 3 of those have something in common, Bill.
Al Michaels.
long time doing it.
Not even that. All three of them, less is more. All three of those announcers would let the play dictate itself and then say things.
But it's also their voice, their delivery,
Sure,
their knowledge. It's everything. It's the
you can't be telling me you don't think Tony Romo's not knowledgeable about the game.
I'm not saying that he's not. I look, guys. I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't like Tony Romo in the booth. He rubs me the wrong way.
Well, at 3
Troy
o'clock,
Aikman's a Dallas Cowboy quarterback. He never rubbed me the wrong way.
Right, at 3 o'clock, you'll have Jim Nance, Tony Romo, and Tracy
and that's
Wolfson.
another thing. I love Jim Nance.
Yeah.
How about Dick Enberg? How about Dick Stockton? We've had Dick Stockton on the program.
I like the younger Dick Stockton. Older Dick Stockton was really
the news
losing
coming
it.
out about Al Michaels?
Al Michaels.
You see what he's going?
No,
He's probably going to go to Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, he's going to go to Thursday Night Football.
Talking about.
Disney Plus or something.
No,
Amazon.
it's going to be on
Amazon.
Amazon. Amazon's making a big push.
That's huge.
They're jumping in a year ahead of time.
But
that's what they're thinking, though, and that's why, because you mentioned Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman's been with Fox for 20 years.
I had Mike Emmerich on my show.
Mm-hmm.
I have Doc Emmerich on the show.
And
talk about a great announcer.
Yeah.
There's something about Tony Romo.
There's one we haven't brought up. I'm surprised. And he does almost every sport. Joe Buck.
Joe Buck? No, I mentioned Joe Buck.
Yeah.
You
He talked about him.
Yeah, I talked about him.
Yeah, no, not Jack Buck.
Not Jack.
Right.
Well, he was good too.
The other thing too, we're not talking about money, right? Aikman's probably going to want a raise. I mean, you don't like Tony Romo? How do you like the fact that he's making $17.49 million more than you?
It's
he's making more than probably half the quarterbacks out there.
Yeah,
that are playing the game.
Right, $17.5 million. He's certainly making more than a backup.
I want to. Speaking of announcers, and look, just because I'm older, I guess I'm not a big fan of Beth. Who's the Sixers?
I love that you're going to say that you're not a fan of her and you can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name.
Kate
Scott.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure there's a lot of younger Sixers fans that are going to grow up with listening to her commentary, and they're going to probably love her
because that's all they know.
But that's all.
Yeah.
After the zoo, man.
Gil and I have talked about this on his show. Mike Gill and I have talked about this. They didn't do her any favors when she had a contractual obligation. She had like college football and she had stuff she couldn't do. So when there were Sixers games that she couldn't do,
then you got McGinnis.
That's the point. They went and put McGinnis on. They would have been better off putting the Delaware Bluecoats kid on, just so you didn't because you never miss something so much when you hear what you're missing. You know what I mean? In other words, Tom McGinnis came on and blew it out of the water and was so good that it made you feel even more against Kate Scott. I think she'll find her footing.
Am I being a little unfair to her because I'm not used to having a female broadcaster in the booth, but I think she's over, I don't know. I think she's over the top in a lot of her descriptions. I don't know.
I think she knows the material. I think she knows what she's doing. She's just learning how to be,
get her niche, find her niche.
Philly.
She still could be nervous.
She could be nervous.
She could be nervous.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a possibility. I don't know, but I'm not going to buy into that. I mean, she's been broadcasting for a long time.
Yeah, she's got her.
I think she's just trying to find her way through what's a very fickle market.
Beth Mowens and who's the other?
There's a whole bunch of female play-by-play people.
She knows that,
I don't like her
when
either.
Imagine what she's thinking about when she doesn't do a game and she's coming back after McGinnis does a game.
Yeah,
that's got to be in her head.
And to follow, when you have to follow a legend like Zoo, or like anybody for that matter in the booth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got your work cut out for you.
Yeah,
you're right. Mike Gill is right. They put her in a bad situation.
I mean, look, the Milwaukee Bucks have a female play-by-play TV personality right now, and you don't see national news coming out, or you don't see reports coming out that this Lisa Byington is no good. Right? I mean, Milwaukee's not up in arms about it.
I also think
it's a really tough market
but
to
Pete,
work
I'm
in.
not saying she's not good because she knows her stuff. It's just that I can't.
You think there could be better?
I think they could have done better. Yeah,
that's all.
I mean, I know they want to get a female in there and be on the cutting edge, and
they want
to change it up. But I think that there's probably a lot of other better candidates that would have the voice, the inflection. You know what I mean? Like Vince Scully, Gene Hart.
You, Billy.
Me. You know what I mean? They'll be like, you know what I mean? Like people that have a sound, a unique sound.
That you remember.
And I don't think she has that. And I might be being unfair. I don't know. Maybe she'll grow on me. I'm not saying get rid of her. I'm not saying, I don't like her. It's just tough for me right now.
The one person who's a female that we were talking off the air, that when they start talking Sixers, I listen to her.
And I agree with you.
And that's D.
D-Line.
When D-Line talks, I listen.
I
listen
think
to
she was
every word she
incredible.
says. Yeah.
Why isn't she doing like nothing against
I don't
Amy
know.
Fadul, but why isn't D-Line him in that spot?
I don't
Well,
know.
she no longer works for that network.
Well, I know, but why not?
They slashed and burned everybody out of that network. Derek Gunn isn't there anymore. D-Line is not there anymore. Neil Hartman isn't there anymore. You want me to keep going?
But what I'm saying is that's a classic case of someone better that should be in that
If you
position.
put them side by side, there's no comparison.
There's no comparison.
I agree. I mean, look, you got Billy, you're a hockey person, right?
Hey?
The girl that they had there, Katie Emmer, she knew a lot more about hockey than the current person that's there. Now, the current person that's there is very nice.
I can't turn her off.
She's very good looking. That helps too.
I got to be honest with you. Over that 13-game stretch, I'd watch the halftime or the between the periods. I wouldn't even watch the game.
We're not even listening to the stats. We're just looking at her.
Unbelievable.
And that's the thing here. I mean, the network, they're not stupid. Like the sideline reporters.
Oh,
come on,
ESPN's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's every
it almost insults your intelligence as a fan.
Yeah.
You kind of be throwing that into the mix because let's face it, I don't care what you say. That's what it's there for. I mean, they're trying to keep eyes glued to the TV, and the one way they're going to do it is with someone that's aesthetically pleasing.
Yep, they're definitely pleasing.
I mean, could you see Pete Thompson on the sideline getting run over by a football player, breaking his arm? You
that
don't
happened.
See that happen.
Yeah.
You want to see
on the very local
but
level.
You want to see Aaron Andrews.
Yeah. I mean, there are no just average looking women on TV.
No.
And it's not on the flip side.
Well,
there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys out there that really shouldn't be on.
Right.
So you talk about looking at
being
two
a
different things
sideline
here.
reporter isn't as easy as it looks.
I agree with that 100%.
And I've done it on a smaller scale. Obviously, you've done it, Pete, numerous times.
Quite a bit.
But listening to someone asking a question and then listening to that person, you're doing a few things, Pete. You're a professional at this. You're doing one of two things.
I mean,
you're
sport.
formulating. You're thinking about another question to ask that's relevant, but you also have to listen because if they say something that you want to expound on, and that takes skill.
That's not, you're only limiting to the post game interview or the halftime interview.
No, I'm
part
talking
of the
about
job.
like as they're running off the field at halftime.
Yeah, but I'm also telling you that you said being a sideline reporter is difficult. You haven't even gone into the hardest part of the job. The hardest part of the job is when the guy has a concussion and goes in the blue tent, when the guy went off to the locker room for medical attention, when the person on a basketball court, like I've done radio sideline work with Gil at a high school game where I have to take the headphone off my ear, lean into the huddle, sort of listen to what the coach is saying, and then come back on and basically convey that to the audience of what Paul Rodeo or what Gene Allen is saying to their team coming out of that timeout. And that's tough to do, especially at the professional level. They don't want you in their huddle.
No. So it is a
Doris Burke. There you
Doris
go.
Burke.
There's a sideline reporter that's not only a woman, but she's amazing at her job.
Yeah, and I'm not a big Doris Burke fan. I got to be honest.
What?
As a sideline reporter, she's better than she is as a play-by-play.
I don't think Doris Burke does a lot of play-by-play.
She does a lot of basketball.
I think that her wheelhouse is the sideline reporting gig. That's what she does.
I thought
she does some
play-by-play.
TNT. Yeah, she does some TNTs.
She does play-by-play.
All right.
Second hour of the locker room is brought to you. A good conversation.
We can agree to disagree.
We can agree to disagree. All right. Second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country
Wait a minute.
Club.
Kate Scott's parents are calling on line 1.
Listen, I'm not advocating for them to get rid of her. I'm just saying they put her in a tough position, and it's going to take a little while for me to warm up.
All right.
Second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's home of the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining, or experience lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information on how to become a member, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. And we see Kevin Kelly has checked in on the Facebook.
Kev.
Kevin Kelly's down there, and of course, Radio Ron Ross and the whole crew. They do a marvelous job. My winter watchdog. Have you heard of New Jersey's premier vacant home management service, My Winter Watchdog? You know those worrisome thoughts that creep into your mind every time you hear of a storm coming or a blizzard, and the daunting task of driving down to the shore to check on your house, hours of time on the road, stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic in a snowstorm. Let My Winter Watchdog be your eyes and ears with their 15-point inspection checklist. They offer a full menu of maintenance and improvement services. Owner Debbie McGonigal and her team of property caretakers are professional, licensed, bonded, and insured. So don't let the winter worry you. They'll give your house that lived-in look. That's My Winter Watchdog. Go to mywinterwatchdog.com or give them a call at 267-202-1869. That's 267-202-1869. Or send Debbie an email, Debbie@mywinterwatchdog.com. All right, when we return, we'll talk to the fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley. You're listening to The Locker Room with Billy Schweim, Mike Carlin, Pete Thompson, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Coming up on the next edition of the Sports Bash.
Problem. They stock all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, with everything from new headlights to vintage gear shifters. I can't imagine being able to stock 122 million parts. I mean, where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. Boom, January 30th, AFC NFC Championship weekend, Sunday. Big games today.
Big day.
Big games.
Big day. This kind of day, you just go home after this.
Yeah, man. Just put the dogs up on the and just watch.
Get comfortable, get something, drink of choice, food of choice.
Hear Pete laughing in the background.
I am laughing
Just
because I was camped out yesterday. I don't know how many days I can get away with that.
Listen,
two in a row.
So now it's our last time of the year for the Guru. So let's go to the fantasy football guru, Brian Hartley, brought to you by Stella Exteriors. They've been providing professional roofing and siding at affordable prices since 1996. Did you know that only 2% of roofing contractors qualify as a GAF Master Elite installer? So if you do the math, choosing Stella Exteriors takes 98% of the worry out. That's Stella Exteriors, 636 West Avenue in Ocean City, New Jersey, 609-399-1010, 609-399-1010. Let's go to the Maserati of the Mainline Sports Hotline and welcome in my fantasy football guru and yours, Brian Hartley. Good morning, Guru.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
All right, Guru. It's the NFC AFC Championship weekend. I don't know if it'll be able to outdo what we saw last week, but I sure hope so. It was super exciting the way all those games ended last week.
Yeah, last week was absolutely incredible. You know, I kept telling you the over-under of that 54 was, was going to be way too low. It should be at 75, and we came pretty darn close to that 75. Every single game last weekend was absolutely just incredible to watch. The NFL couldn't have been happier, that's for sure.
All right, real quick, just a one-word answer, yes or no. Do you like Tony Romo as a broadcaster?
Yes or no? I'd say, yeah, I think he's okay. I mean, I don't have anything necessarily wrong with him.
Good answer.
I take him over Joe Buck.
Good answer.
All right, okay. All right, hey, Guru, I was on Twitter this week.
You're not going to ask him about Aikman?
No. I just wanted to get his input on it.
All right.
It's a Dallas thing, Pete.
I
It's
guess.
definitely a Dallas
I saw yesterday we had Dave Klemick on, Mainland Regional High School standout, Northeastern, and of course he played for the Chiefs, and he beat Dante Hall in a race. And on Twitter, I saw pictures. I saw a video of Tyreek Hill, and I looked at his thighs and his hamstrings. Dude, his legs are like unbelievable, and that guy is explosive. And he is like he's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna stop him in Mahomes today.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. Dave and I, we grew up together. So we both grew up in Summers Point. He's a year younger than me, but we played sports and stuff. That whole family, incredibly fast. Every single one of them. Dave's probably the fastest. Well, they're all fast.
He ran at 4.25 40, Guru.
His little brother, Matt, is the only person that coaching Babe Ruth baseball that's ever stolen second base and then stolen back first base on the next pitch. So that's just the way they are. It's absolutely incredible. That kid had me rolling. But yes, Tyreek Hill. That whole team. It's funny. I was just listening to another station driving over here to get coffee, and they're saying George Kittle, the best tight end in the NFL, and I'm laughing in the car. I'm laughing like George Kittle's not the best tight end. Travis Kelce is the best tight end. You got guys like Darren Waller too. You know what I mean? It's that whole team. They have so many guys. Pringle has been playing unbelievable. They give Hardman the ball last week. Hardman the ball and he runs it. Like they have so many weapons. You know, their defense is really their biggest weakness. You can't stop their offense. So the only thing you can do is try to outscore them. Cincinnati's positioned to do that. Cincinnati has an unbelievable amount of talent. Their problem is, even though Kansas City's defense is playing a little better, Burrow gets sacked 9 times last week. They can't protect him, which makes it hard to run the ball. They need to do better with the line, but it's going to be an uphill battle for Cincinnati to try to knock off Kansas City this week.
Now, Mike, yesterday, you guys, we had Brad Quast and I did the show. We had former Kansas City Chief tight end and Pittsburgh Steelers tight end Jonathan Hayes on, who coached the NFLPA game yesterday. We were talking about tight ends. He was a tight end, and we were talking about Travis Kelce and his ability, his route running ability, his work ethic, but his athleticism.
Right.
I mean, you're like the Buffalo Bills had the best defense in the league, and they couldn't stop them with 13 seconds left.
Yeah, well, even when you look at it and you think he hasn't had that great of a game, boom, the end of the game, that's the guy he goes to. Overtime, that's the guy he goes to. So you may think you have him contained for a little portion of the game, but man, if you're not on him every single play and he's not living in the back of your head worrying about that, you're in some serious trouble, because that guy at any time can break out and just take over a game.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Guru, there's only obviously 2 games, 4 teams playing today. What's the fantasy? Is there a day fantasy league today? What do we have going on?
Yeah, I mean, my league is still going on. A lot of leagues are still going on. So again, I'm in a suicide pool. So you've got to pick guys to fill a lineup that's in these 4 games, or these 2 games with the 4 teams. But again, if you lose, that player is gone. You can only use the player one time. So you're kind of trying to fill a lineup. But in the back of your head, you got to think, well, who's going to play in the Super Bowl? Because I got to leave some players. And then when you have an upset, it really destroys things. Like Green Bay last week was brutal. A lot of guys didn't play Green Bay players because they thought, I'll save them for the NFC Championship or the Super Bowl, and now you lost them because they're out. There's a lot of leagues still going. The heavy bets are all on the Kansas City players, because they're the guys that everyone, I think, is definitely going to go to the Super Bowl and have a good chance to win. The NFC game's kind of a crapshoot, I don't know who's going to win that game. San Francisco, they were down a couple weeks ago when they were playing just to get into the playoffs against the Rams, and they came back and won the game. But there's not a lot of fantasy value in the San Francisco players outside of Deebo Samuel, because you don't score a lot of points. They scored no offensive touchdowns last week and still won the game. Garoppolo has 10 fantasy points combined in 2 weeks of playoff football. So it's a crapshoot.
Hartley, what's your take on Tom Brady's retiring, but no, he's not retiring? Just ask his dad. Like, what's going on there?
I was listening to it all day on the radio yesterday while I was out plowing, and yeah, it's comical. I think he is going to retire. I think he's probably disappointed that he probably made a decision and just was hoping to hold off until after these games so it wasn't a distraction this weekend.
See, I have a different philosophy, Guru. I think he did it intentionally because he wanted to upstage the NFC AFC Championship game because he's a marketer.
You never know, Billy. That's something I think you are on that same mindset. So, you would have a better...
There's a true answer.
you would have a little more psychology on that. But, yeah, I mean, it's a shame. The guy is a true champion, and we would have all, I think, enjoyed seeing him play for another Super Bowl, kind of walking off like a John Elway or a Peyton Manning with a Super Bowl trophy in his hand. But, it's not always meant to be. Only one team can win it at the end of the year, and they had a lot of injuries. So didn't end up the way he thought.
Give us your picks for today's games.
Yeah, I mean, today I'm taking Kansas City, and I'm going to take the Rams today. I think they do knock off San Francisco, but I think it's a tight game, and I don't think there's a lot of scoring in that game. I think it's more like a 17-13 game, but I'm going Kansas City Rams Super Bowl.
All right, Guru, this will be our last official week that we'll bring you up. And listen, what a wonderful season. You do a fabulous job, very knowledgeable and very accurate with your picks, and we appreciate it. And I look forward to next season.
I hope to be back, and you guys enjoy this weather, and we'll see what happens in the Super Bowl.
All right, there he is, my fantasy football guru, and you, Brian Hartley, on the Maserati of the Mainline Hotline. The Fantasy Football Guru is brought to you by Stell Exteriors. They've been providing professional roofing and siding at affordable prices since 1996. Did you know that only 2% of roofing contractors qualify as a GAF Master Elite installer? So if you do the math, choosing Stell Exteriors takes 98% of the worry at. That's Stell Exteriors, 636 West Avenue in Ocean City, New Jersey. Or give them a call at 609-399-1010. That's 609-399-1010. Pete.
Billy.
Brian doesn't.
He's outstanding. He's
outstanding.
a very valuable resource to have.
I hear a lot of people, a lot of fantasy people on radio stations and TV shows, but I'll tell you what, I'll back you. He does a phenomenal job for us, and I really appreciate him.
Yeah, me too.
I want him to know
me too. Plus, he knows you personally, so he can rip on you when you're being stupid.
Which never happens.
Oh, every day, all the time.
All right. Second hour of the locker room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. Great Bay is an award-winning private golf club where you are greeted by name. It's over the 3-hour and 58-minute round. You can play on their 18-hole championship golf course, enjoy fine dining experience, lively atmosphere in the pub. There's a full calendar of golf and social events throughout the season to appeal to everyone. For more information or maybe having a wedding at the Great Bay Country Club, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Summers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. Ask for Radio Ron Ralston when you get down there. All right. Friends, let me tell you about Maserati, the main line, located just minutes from downtown Philadelphia. They offer a client-focused car buying experience designed to exceed all expectations and invite you to stop and see the area's largest selection of Maseratis, including the sporty Ghibli midsize sedan of the class-leading Levante, the only SUV worthy of being called a Maserati. Maserati, the main line, also leads the nation in certified pre-owned sales and has the highest quality like new Maseratis available on the market. But your experience does not end at the point of a sale, as Maserati, the main line, offers free pickup and delivery for scheduled service appointments and provides a new Maserati loaner car. So be audacious. Call my good friend Michael Pileggi at Maserati, the main line, at 484-804-4800. That's 484-804-4800, or visit them online anytime at motml.com. All right, when we return, we're going to talk with the Q-Man, Brad Quast. You're listening to The Locker Room with Pete Thompson, Mike Carlin, and Billy Schweim right here on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow on 97.3.
You're doing and get $5,000 off new Nissans only at mattblattnissan.com. Negative equity will be refinanced with the new vehicle. 36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease plus tax and $479 fee. Offers can't be combined. MSRP $60,140. VIN and N532176. Call 877-289-6670 or go to mattblattnissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 2/5/2022. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
All right, back here in the locker room with Billy Schweim, Mike Carlin, Pete Thompson. And it's 11:30. We're going to continue the football conversation with someone that knows a thing or two about football because he played in the NFL.
Played it.
He
What's
was
up,
a
fellas?
big-time Big Ten, all Big Ten player for Iowa. Let's go to the Maserati Mainline Sports Hotline and welcome into the locker room our good buddy, Brad Quast. What's up, Q, man?
What's up, guys? What's up? I'm done with the snow.
Yeah,
no more
man.
snow.
We had to make a last-minute adjustment here, get the Carlin in here. Hey, Q, you called me yesterday. Yesterday on our show, you got Jonathan Hayes, former Pittsburgh Steeler and Kansas City Chief tight end, who coached in the NFLPA game, and I watched a little bit of that. That was that at the Rose Bowl?
It was at the Rose Bowl, and you notice 115,000 fans that weren't there. I mean, it was weird.
Wasn't it weird?
Yeah, it was really weird. I guess California, you're not allowed to have spectators at sports,
except for if it's a Super Bowl, NFC Championship game, or the Super Bowl. I guess.
I guess, but I mean, it was weird. I go, where is that? That's the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all.
The granddaddy of them all. I've been to that stadium for a Super Bowl, and I've seen a couple regular season games. I never actually saw the Rose Bowl. At the Rose Bowl, I've been to the Rose Bowl and witnessed. I think I saw USC play Washington and UCLA. I mean UCLA against Washington, and of course I saw the Giants and the Broncos there in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I saw
and I'll tell you what,
Cowboys Buffalo.
Yeah, great venue, venue, right?
Great. Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, Q, man. Today we got the NFC AFC Championship game. We got the Chiefs against the Bengals. Now, last week the Bengals pulled off a win in Tennessee. They won 19-16. Burrows was sacked 9 times. What kind of effort are we going to see out of that offensive line? Kansas City doesn't have the greatest defense in the world. So, how do you see this game shaking out?
Yeah, I think Cincinnati's going to run out of their magic, and I think Kansas City's going to give them a whooping. A whooping. I think they give them a whooping. I think they're going to, their role's going to their run to the Super Bowl is going to end tonight. And Joe Burrow's had a tremendous year and brought that franchise and put it back on the map. But I think they're going to run into a buzzsaw tonight.
I wrote for 97.3 ESPN.com. Every Friday I post my article previewing the show. And one thing I wrote about and that we're witnessing right now is the changing of the guard from the old established great quarterbacks now to the new class of quarterback, Mahomes, Joe Burrow. Continue, help me out here. Who else we have? Stafford, Josh Allen. I mean, it's a changing in the
Chargers.
Guard.
The Chargers guy,
Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
So we got a whole plethora of new, exciting quarterbacks that add a different dynamic. They can not only run and throw with accuracy, but they're athletic as well.
Well, Billy, the game has changed, as we all know. I mean, it's we have conversations when we do at the golf outings that like the quarterbacks got beat up back then. I mean, they got killed. I mean, you were able to hit them and bring them down to the ground. Now you can't even touch them. So I think the sophistication of the defense and the offensive schemes has completely changed. The athletes are better. These quarterbacks are mobile and they're stronger. They're training more. So it's just the position's evolving and to a better athlete. And you see that with these young kids. They're just tremendous.
We're talking with former Eagles linebacker Brad Quast here on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline, and it's funny too when I watch like old films of the Purple People Eaters or the sack exchange or the Fearsome Foursome, when they tackled the quarterback, they didn't just tackle him; they rubbed his head in the noogies. They try to hurt you.
Yeah, they got after you, and it was a badge of courage. And does Broadway Joe make it in this modern day NFL now? Joe. He couldn't run. He can't run. He's really not a big guy. I mean, he would be beat up.
One of the best interviews, one of my favorite interviews of all time, and it was just such an honor to have Joe Namath on my show. Joe Namath, if you looked at his numbers, I mean, he obviously short-lived career, but if he played in today's game, he'd be. I mean, talk about
like we said, he'd be throwing darts.
He'd be throwing darts.
You can't touch him, and he'd be hitting everybody down the field. I mean,
all right. So in the Chiefs Bengals game, Q, who do you like and why?
Well, like I said, I think the Chiefs are going to play better. I think they're going to be more prepared, and I just think that the stage is too big for Cincy. I think they got there, and I anticipate they're going to have a lot of turnovers, and they're going to make some mental mistakes. I think today. I think the pressure, you'll see the making mistakes be due to the pressure.
Yeah, Pete, I don't think Mahomes loses at home. And this is the fourth AFC Championship game in a row. Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill. The list goes on and on. PT, I don't.
Listen, the Bengals have been a good story and a good run, and it's fun to watch Mixon. It's fun to watch Jamar Chase won me my fantasy league. I enjoy watching that, but I have a hard time seeing the Chiefs losing that game at home. Now the Niners-Rams, I'm a little more fuzzier on, but hey, that's why they draw them up, and that's why I'm looking forward to the game.
I think why we got the guru calling it. Yeah,
that's right.
Brad, you have the Cincinnati game down to the tick. We're thinking the exact same.
And then you look at a team like the 49ers with Garoppolo. I mean, we all say, it's a quarterback league, but anytime you want to bring up an example of a team that's winning without a great quarterback, there it is right there for you.
Can you imagine they win today and they can get to the Super Bowl? What are they going to do with them? How do you get rid of them? You can't get rid of them, then.
Right?
But see, here's the question with San Fran and the Rams, right? The Rams pushed all their chips in the middle in terms of salary cap and personnel. Right. So the pressure's on them. And I think the Niners are like, hey, they weren't counting us in. We play good defense. We run the ball. Jimmy G's not going to be here next year. We're playing with house money. So you're going to see a little bit of tension over there and a little bit of nervousness on the Rams sideline tonight as well.
100%. I mean, the Rams traded for Von Miller. Yeah. That's the epitome of pushing your chips in. Very much so.
Guys, when you watch that game tonight, the Rams game, whether offense or defense, when they say a player, tackle, catch, they end it with Pro Bowl. Or he was a Pro Bowler. I mean, they are stacked on both sides.
All right,
of the
but
ball.
look at the Bills Chiefs game last week. The Bills were the best defenses in the league, and they couldn't stop Mahomes. And we're like, you're looking at the Eagles saying, well, we got a 15th, 16th, and a 19th round pick. Let's bolster our defense.
I haven't had a chance to ask Quast this. Brad, did it bother you that Josh Allen didn't even get a chance to possess the ball in that overtime, that it came down to a coin toss? Because people were going nuts last Monday over the way that finished because of the fact that the college rules are so different than the NFL rules.
Yes, we definitely, they're going to tweak that. They have to, because it was so disappointing. The ratings were great, and you have such a great team, and they're like, we didn't get a chance just because of a stupid coin toss.
Yeah, I mean, it could have kept going and going and going. What would the ratings have been then?
Yeah, it's not fair. So they have to look at it. They're trying to evolve to that, but there is an answer out there. But to lose a coin toss and not get an opportunity to score points, it's not right.
So I was in the middle of a thought. You just cut me off. I mean, I was.
You were? No. I thought that Mike Carlin was talking. Mike Carlin, I have no problem cutting off.
Okay,
you're the host.
I was just saying. No, what I was going to say was,
Pete, go give Billy a hug, Pete.
Right.
Billy a hug.
But what I was saying is, like, you want to bolster your defense, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You can't stop a guy like Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. You can't stop these guys.
Thank God they're in the other conference. Right. They're not in our conference.
Well, you're a linebacker, Q. The Eagles only put 4% of their caps money in the linebacker.
It's so hard, and that's why these guys, these new GMs, if you watch the new hires, are Harvard MBAs. I mean, it's a cap. You got to be a financial guy to survive. And how much money am I going to spend on the offense side? How much money of the cap am I going to spend on the defensive side? I'm going to sink I'm going to get the marquee quarterback. Well, that takes up 37% of the cap. It's a science. So I don't know. Defensively, you have to draft, build your team through the draft, and then draft position-wise in your conference. So the Eagles should always be thinking, I'm going to draft players to stop the Cowboys, to stop the Washington team, to stop the Giants. They have to do that. You got to think like that because you got to win your conference first.
All right, Q, man, we're going to ask you for your predictions. First, give us your outcome of the Chiefs-Bengals game.
All right. I love the story with Burrow and Cincy, but, Andy and Spags, my coach Spags is going to get him ready. Patrick, 37-21 Chiefs.
Wow, 37. All right, and give us the NFC.
Ooh. 34-17.
That would have to be the Rams.
LA.
Yeah,
that would have to be the Rams. By the way, 60 degrees in LA for that game.
But it's
40
indoors.
40 degrees in Kansas City for that game. So the weather will not be a factor in today's games. All right, Brad Quast, as always, we appreciate it, brother. And we look forward to seeing you in the
See you
studio
this week, guys.
next
Thank you.
weekend.
Stay safe. Bye.
All right, there
Take
he
care,
is.
Brad.
There's Brad Quast on the Maserati, the Mainline Sports Hotline. When we come back, guys,
Sorry about that.
No,
I really wanted to get a question.
No, because I was like talking, and all of a sudden we went a different direction. I said, "Wait a minute, what was my thought?"
Oh, you're mad at me because you forgot your own thought.
Yeah, you
Gotcha.
knocked me off my saddle there.
I apologize.
All right, when we come back, I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you two guys for your picks.
Okay.
So
I also have a surprise for you
you got a surprise
on
for
the
me?
other side.
All
Yeah.
right. The second hour of the Locker Room is brought to you by the Great Bay Country Club, where it's not just golf, it's fun. Make Great Bay Country Club your club. For more information on how to become a member, or maybe you want to have a wedding and look into some type of event, go to greatbay.com or give them a call at 609-927-5071. Great Bay Country Club in Somers Point, New Jersey. See why it's always a great day at Great Bay. When you get down there, say hello to Radio Ron Ralston for me. Hey, just about everybody in our area has heard about the Jersey Man and Philly Man magazine, run by ex-Philadelphia tight end and ex-USFL Philadelphia star Ken Duddick. Are you aware of their private business network they call the Legacy Club? Every month, they hold private events at upscale locations in Philadelphia and South Jersey that attract over 200 top business people. If you have an interest in attending one of these events and see it's a fit for your business, send an email to ken@jerseymanmagazine.com or give them a call at 856-912-4007 for more information. All right, when we return, we're going to wrap it up with our predictions. You're listening to The Locker Room with Mike Carlin, Pete Thompson, Billy Schweim, right here on 97.3 ESPN.
Later today, it's the championship round of the NFL playoffs as we bring you a special doubleheader. Hi, this
All right, Limu, what do you think? You sure? We're going with Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Oh, so close. We were looking for stairs.
Huh. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
All right, we're back here in the locker room. A few minutes left. PT, we always have the text board open. We haven't really been giving out the number, but every once in a while, people text in. And,
That's right. Well, the loyal listeners, we appreciate that. 609-403-0973, in case you're wondering. Joe D texted and said, good morning, guys. I wonder why we haven't heard much at this stage concerning Doug Peterson getting a head coaching job. Also, how can you justify in Los Angeles the parking lot costs about the same as a game ticket? It's unreal. Yeah, that's highway robbery they're doing out there, Joey D. And as for Doug Peterson, I think he wants a job. I think, he interviewed with the Bears, he interviewed with Jacksonville. I think he wants a job. I just don't think, look, it's like musical chairs. The seats are getting filled. We did look up his contract situation, and he has one more year left getting paid. He had 2 more years left from the Eagles. So
that's why I think he goes on these interviews.
Yeah.
And if they're not perfect, he goes back home. He's getting paid.
Right. Just once in I say this all the time, guys, just once in my life, I want to get paid to not work.
Yeah.
Dan from EHT says that, listen, I heard you talking about Russell Wilson. He's obviously depleted, he says. His bread and butter always was that he could take off and run, but it's not there anymore. He's lost a step. Well, I don't agree with that, Dan from EHT.
Yeah, I don't think I do
I don't
either.
think he's lost a step, and I also don't think he's depleted. I think, and plus, if you put him in front of an actual a functional offensive line, I think he can actually do something. And then Keith says, hey, Billy, it's okay for you to say you don't like those female announcers. Neither do I, because of the voice. I'm not saying they're not knowledgeable. It's just not for me, and that's Keith. So,
and I didn't say. Wait, let me say. I didn't
Right.
say I didn't like her. I said it's going to take a long time for me to warm up to it. I just haven't been
to it.
able to get used to it.
Right.
That's all.
Here's your surprise, because I thought that, Tom Brady is retired. We're not 100% sure if this is the case yet or not. Hang on. There it is.
What is this?
Philadelphia.
Sayando.
Now, when you know what this is, you let me know.
That's Brandon Graham knocking a ball out.
And who recovered it?
Barnett.
Nice.
This is the Eagles strip sack on Tom Brady in
job, Billy.
every language. Our favorite.
Yeah, there he is.
Merle.
All right, PT.
Let's get these scores.
We got to get these scores in before the show is over.
No problem.
Who do you like in the Bengals-Chiefs game?
Well, I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan, and Jamar Chase won me my fantasy league, so I've been enjoying the Bengals run. I really do feel like they're on one of those Cinderella story runs, but I think that ends today. I don't see Mahomes and the Chiefs losing at home. I certainly don't see the Bengals able to keep up with them, and I have it pretty high for the Chiefs. I have it 37-13 KC.
Wow, 37-13 KC. How about the NFC game?
And in the NFC game, I think that one's a little closer. I know that Quast was talking about the Rams putting all their chips in. Cooper Kupp is amazing. The guy's flat out. Will Stafford have a hiccup? Is this the time that he actually has a little bit of a hiccup? But I like the Rams in this one. I think this one's a little more high scoring. I've got 31-21 Rams.
All right. Mike Carlin. Chiefs Bengals.
To me, it's a no-brainer. It's KC.
Everybody's picking the Chiefs.
I think Cincinnati, again, like Pete, had a great run. I know my son Cole's going to be upset. He lives in Cincinnati, but the fans enjoyed it. They had a great year. And that's how you look at this. I'm looking at 38-21.
All right.
For the
And
KC.
then the NFC Championship game?
I think it's going to be a repeat of last year. And what I mean by that is Tampa went to it and got to play at home for Super Bowl. I think this is going to be the Rams. Everything's clicking. All their Pro Bowlers are coming together, playing great. I see a 42-28. Hard to beat a team 3 times in a row.
All right. I'm going to play devil's advocate because everybody in this that's associated with this show today has picked the Chiefs and the Rams. So just to be different, I'm taking the Bengals and the 49ers.
Good for you, Billy. Good for you.
Look at you going the opposite.
Bengals and 49ers. That'd be
Man.
horrible. That would be a horrible Super Bowl.
That would be. Come on.
But
Casey
there it
Rams.
is.
What do you mean? It would remind me of the 80s.
Yeah,
Bengals,
right,
Niners.
right,
Where's
yeah.
John Candy? Where's Joe Montana?
Great show
Great
today,
show.
fellas.
Guys did
Yep.
a great
I
Enjoyed
job.
it very
enjoy having,
much.
even though you guys gang up on me, Plymouth White Marsh.
Yeah.
fellas.
Here's how it goes. Oh, may the ties that bind us
All right.
carry through the years.
Hey, thanks for making the locker room part of your Sunday, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with the Schweiner. Thanks to the PT. Thanks to Mike Carlin, Brad Quast, the Guru, and Scott Grayson. Stay tuned. 2 o'clock coverage starts. Bengals, Chiefs at 3, and then 49ers, Rams, all right here on 97.3 ESPN. I'll see you next Saturday.
Enjoy.
Hey, Coach, we need to score. What's the call?
We're going to wing it. We're calling the pick.
The pick?
Yeah, the one.